Why does recency bias hurt your fantasy football team? Have you ever wondered why some fantasy football managers seem to make the same mistakes year after year? One major reason is recency bias. This bias can really hurt your fantasy football team by causing you to focus too much on a player's latest performances while ignoring their overall track record. When you let recent results cloud your judgment, you risk making decisions that can negatively impact your roster. Recency bias leads to decisions based on short-term results instead of a player's true skill and consistency. For instance, if a running back has a standout game with multiple touchdowns, you might think they will keep that level of production. This can lead you to draft or trade for that player at a much higher value than they deserve. On the flip side, if a player has a few bad games, you might overlook them even though they have a solid history of performance. This bias can also affect your weekly start or sit decisions. Managers often choose to start players who just had a big game, expecting them to perform similarly again. But if the upcoming matchup is tough, or if the player is dealing with an injury, this can lead to poor lineup choices and lost points. Additionally, early season performances can skew your perception. A player who has a breakout game in the first week may not maintain that level throughout the season. To counteract recency bias, it is essential to balance recent performance with historical data, player roles, injury status, and matchup context. A data-driven approach helps you avoid overreacting to short-term fluctuations. In dynasty leagues, where player value is tied to long-term potential, this bias can be especially harmful. Managers may overtrade or misjudge prospects based on recent results instead of their career trajectory. By recognizing and addressing recency bias, you can make better draft choices, evaluate trades more effectively, and set stronger weekly lineups. This way, you will build a more consistent fantasy football team that can withstand the ups and downs of the season. Understanding this bias is key to improving your overall strategy and performance in fantasy football leagues.